Oh, hey everybody. Just got back from a restaurant in Rockridge in Oakland, California that I will say is Italian, very good. It's been there a long time. I know the owners, right next to Rockridge Bar. I went to the doctor just before that. Doctor told me I had to lose 20 pounds. Actually, I'm at 208 and I need to get to 180. Ideally, 190 I think would be acceptable, but 180. And I kind of knew that, but at any rate, then I gave my blood for a test, and so of course I was worried, right? And so what I did was I thought, oh boy, what'll cheer me up? And I thought, well, instead of going to the gym, I did the opposite. I thought I'll go to this place because I haven't been there a long time and I'll have a maker's mark. Duh. That was purely the reason. It's a nice setting, beautiful place. I just wanted to, relax. I wanted to really relax. If you go to the gym, you're not relaxing. You're working and you're doing all this stuff. The relaxation is actually isn't talking to people, but generally you're working. I didn't feel like that. I thought, okay, why not? So I did. And I walked in. I was going to go to the bar, but the bar, I haven't been there in a while. The bar changed and had less space. There was a guy taking up most of it, another guy. And the gentleman who was the bartender said, hey, why don't you sit over here, which is in the kind of the it's in the area where people eat. And the two are very close together at this place on the corner of College Avenue and Keith. So they blend right into each other. It's not a perfect demarcation between one area and the other. Not at all. Nothing like that. So I sit and was looking for this place on Foursquare. It wasn't there. And I mentioned to the waitress that, hey, this should be on Foursquare. And she goes, oh, I never heard of it, right? And I said, I'll tell the owner who I know. And so did that, and well, I thought about that. So at any rate, I'm sitting there and eventually, both my water, which I did have, and my whiskey run out. I thought, okay, I'd like to have another. But it's not a big hurry. Now, during that time, wait staff, the waitresses, all white and female, save for one white guy, the bartender's Latino, passed by me, I think something like, 13 times. No one said, how are you doing? No one said, is there anything you would like to eat? No one asked a question. And at first I thought, whatever. Then after about, what felt like 40 minutes, it felt odd. And meanwhile, I'm reading my email, answering my email, looking at news online, all on my smartphone, as they call these things now. So after about 40 minutes, I thought, this is ridiculous, but I'm not going to complain to them. I am going to talk to the owner because I have known them for 20 years. So I went up and I talked to the person that I knew, and she was shocked. And to her great credit, she's a great person. They're great people. She went down, made sure that, she personally took care of me, and the next round was on her. And she, didn't have to do that. I didn't even know that until I offered to pay, and she goes, no. Meanwhile, a Berkeley council member walks by, and she had introduced me to this gentleman and his wife, and we all had a great conversation about politics. Now, you could see the wait staff realized, oh my God, this guy is a somebody, right? And so I had my second cocktail. I put a $5 bill in as a tip because I thought that regardless of how I was treated, that was the right thing to do. And I left, but I felt violated. And I struggled over the idea of making this video, but I thought, because, I know the people that own the place, but I thought someone has to send a message. I thought about contacting Michael Bauer, who's the food and wine editor at SF Gate, where I put my blogs, and I thought, but Michael doesn't address these issues normally. If I put this out there to him, I can't count on him to actually address this issue in a timely fashion, because that would match my emotions, obviously. So I thought, well, if I did it, it'd just be compartmentalized as a black guy complaining. And then I said, you know what, so what? And so here is black guy complaining. Look, there's in the Bay Area, and it's different in other parts of the country. It's not this way in New York. My experience in Atlanta is, really positive. I haven't had anything like this in any time at all. But there's a pecking order here in the Bay Area. It's that both blacks and whites, particularly women, expect black men to talk to them first. And what happens is that they don't leave that expectation to personal encounters. They take it into the professional area. So if the person happens to be, say, a wait staff and they're white and female, they treat you the same way as if they did on the street. That's wrong. And if you are a patron and you're well connected, you doesn't matter what you look. Doesn't matter that they are where you are. If you're black and male, they're going to treat you that way. And, you know, it's really tragic. Now, if it were for me and I were the owners, I would have got the staff together and I said, you know what, you all are fired. That's how I feel right now. Because you don't, I mean, even after this happened, no one came up to me. Well, in fact, the funny thing about it is that when she came down, the owner, the guy behind the bar, suddenly came out and said, oh, hey, would you like some water? Would you like this? Would you like anything else? And I said, so it takes so-and-so coming down for me to finally get service? I felt like I was a sphinx, you know? That is bad. And that's why I rail against people who talk about Rand Paul's comments about allowing businesses to discriminate. If you don't know what that feels like, then you have no business saying it. You know? You don't have no business even thinking it. It's just not, it's the worst feeling in the world to know that you're on the top of your game in different areas of life, but you walk into a restaurant and because someone doesn't like the color of your skin or the fact that you're black and male, they're going to even subconsciously treat you a certain way. That there are people who are going to come up with, you know, anything to do CYA to cover their ass. Oh, he was this. Not true. Oh, he was that. Not true. I was very much to myself. You know, and there were 2 occasions I tried to connect one person. I said, hey, I thought I recognized this person was somewhere else. I didn't. And I said, I'm sorry, you know. And the other person was, you know, I talked about Foursquare, but I shouldn't have to have these excuses. I should have the freedom to be who I am. Everybody should. So I'm saying this one to say, hey, you know what? Don't do that again. Just knock it off.